So this trial is moving exactly how it should. So I want to do a quick compare and contrast, all right? The jury for Diddy was seated on Monday. Both sides did their opening, and 2 witnesses testified. 1 direct and cross, redirect, recross. 2 got through direct, and they were still on cross. Day 2, they resumed cross, and then they put Cassidy on the stand. Rewind to when we all met. Most of us met during the YSL trial. Let's rewind. It took them 11 months to find a jury. This took a week. The Diddy trial is moving how I expect trials to move. The Diddy trial is moving the way trials in Dallas move. The Diddy trial is moving the way all of my trials have ever moved. Effectively, efficiently, quickly. So this trial is moving exactly how it should. And it's crazy. It's crazy. Okay. I know simply the Diddy thing is gross. I'm not gonna lie, it's gross. The prosecution on Diddy is all women. And that is obviously done on purpose. All right, so the judge is Arun Subramanian. He was confirmed by the Senate in 2023 with a 59 to 37 vote. So that's pretty good. Diddy's lead attorney is Mark Anthony Agnifilo. He's joined by Tenny Garagos. That is, what's-his-face Garagos' daughter. Okay? He has Alexandria Shapiro, Brian Steele, of course. Here's who the Fed has. Emily Ann Johnson, Madison Reddick Smizer, Mary Christine Slavic, Meredith Foster, and Mitzi Steiner. They also have Maureen Ryan Comey. So Diddy's lawyers are men and women. This government only has women lawyers. I think that's a very good, smart idea. So far, all of the lawyers for the government seem to be actually quite capable, and I do expect that out of the Fed. All right, so day 1 was Monday. They did their openings. Let's see if we can hear about the openings.
Saw Diddy's daughters get out of the courtroom. You know, imagine listening and being inside that gallery and listening to your father's proclivities and alleged crimes, especially crimes at that, and just having to go into the full detail of it. I saw them kind of all just walk up. They stayed outside of the courtroom for a little bit. They came back, but then I think their guardians were...
So all his kids were there that first day, but then his kids walked out when weird started being talked about. Okay, so day 1, openings that were dry. Then they had the security guard turned cop who came when Cassidy called from the 2016 hotel during the incident that we all saw. He wrote a report. Brian Steele cross-examined him because in his testimony that day, he said that Diddy had this like cold, devilish stare. And Brian Steele cross-examined him and said, like, that's not in the report, is it? From what I heard of the cross-examination, it was classic Brian, classic Steele, and did pretty good. After that cross, then came this male escort. This is him. He's like really fit, really buff. If he had a beard, he'd probably be exactly my type. So anyhow, he was pretty hot. And he explained that him and Cassidy had become good friends, and he traveled around the country and did freak-offs with them. And he would see Diddy, Cassidy, and then he would ask her, like, why are you still with him? And that's kind of like when he got cut off, is my understanding. So they were like a little basically for a while. Diddy paid the dude over $700,000 over time. So Cassidy talked about that whole thing, how it went down, and she was there, and they were disguised, and blah, blah, blah. I'm not getting into like the graphic details, guys, because they're graphic and it's gross. So let's watch this together. This is from Law and Crime and Jeanette Levy, which they are telling us the 11 most shocking moments in the Diddy trial. A lot of it's been shocking. Now, before we get into that, after the escort came Cassidy, and she did her directs, and it was, Cassie, whatever her name is. I don't fucking know. I never even heard of that girl. Like, until this came out, I never even heard of her. You know who I don't pay attention to? Sean P. Diddy Combs. Like, I could give, like, I do not care who these people are. I will never know them. This is their business. I'm just covering it because it's on trial. All right? In real life, I don't care. So let's do this 11 shocking moments. Whatever her name is, she's in this video. Okay. Oh, also, they started dating when she was 19, and I feel he groomed her. And also, he made her because on Cross, she talked a lot about and she was usually without him, and he would beat out of her. They're both they are junkies. Now, did he groom her? Did he get her to that set? That's a different question. I don't think that's what's on trial here. In her Cross, there's some real damning text, y'all. Talking about, oh, I want to do a freak off. Oh, that was so fun. I'm thinking about how great that was. Blah, blah, blah. All right, so let's listen to this video.
Ventura out of a hotel suite. We've edited parts of it. Ventura says Combs her and dragged her back to the room when she tried to leave a freak off. Ventura described it this way on the stand. When I chose to leave, I grabbed what I could and I got out.
On Cross, she admitted that he was coming down off of opioids at that time. Now, does that make the behavior acceptable? Absolutely not. But when you're coming off, you're now.
And Sean followed me into the hallway before the elevators and grabbed me up on the ground, tried to drag me back to the room. He took my stuff. Yeah. Ventura told Combs in a text that she wanted to take part in the freak-off because she had a movie premiere, but she also didn't want to mess up her body. But she testified she told him she wanted to do the freak-off so she wouldn't sabotage her movie premiere, which was coming up. She then described in more detail what happened. Ventura said Combs so she decided to leave. An escort named Jules was still in the hotel suite at the time. Ventura said, after he me, and I just saw the result of it, I knew I had to get out. So when he was distracted, I don't know exactly what he was doing. He was either in the shower or on the phone. I just grabbed my stuff and ran out as fast as I could. Assistant U.S. Attorney Emily Johnson then asked, and where were you headed when you ran out of the room? Ventura responded, I was headed home to my apartment. Johnson asked, what happened next? Ventura responded, I made it to the elevators. I got my sneakers on, and then the next thing I knew, I was just thrown to the ground. Ventura continued, yeah, it was really fast, thrown to the ground. Johnson asked, you said you got your sneakers on when you got to the elevator. Where were your sneakers before? Ventura responded, my sneakers, I think, were in my bag. I just ran out without any shoes. Johnson asked, why did you run out without any shoes? Ventura responded, faster. Johnson asked, you said you were thrown down in the elevator lobby. Who threw you down? Ventura responded, Sean. He by the back of my neck and my hoodie and just to the ground. This is another law and crime legal alert. If you receive this, Ventura responded, I would actually vomit, yeah. Johnson asked, did Sean know about the effects that MDMA had on you? Ventura responded, yeah. Johnson asked, how? Ventura responded, because he would see me in the bathroom or I would tell him so he would just know. Johnson asked, what, if anything, would Sean say when you got sick from MDMA or Ventura responded, he didn't say much, but if we were in the freak-off, he would be encouraging me to get up and continue on with it in that condition. Johnson asked, and how did you feel? Ventura responded, sensitive and engorged. Johnson asked, did you want to take the Viagra? Ventura responded, no. I thought, no, I didn't. Johnson asked, when escorts were having trouble getting erect, what, if anything, did you observe affected their inability to get erect? Ventura said, like I said before, just the distraction of seeing Sean move around, maybe just hearing his voice.
So then she went on to say, probably one of the grossest things I've ever heard. Plug your ears, guys. When the escorts would complete, Diddy would have Cassie, whatever her name is, take the result of the completion and rub it on his nose. This is why you don't mess around with young women, guys. I can't tell you enough. Shannon Sharp, great example. When we are young, most women will probably do almost anything for their dude. But there is hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. And there is not a single member of Gen Z that has any shame. She's a late millennial, right? Like, so the shame, our shame as a society left with the millennials, right? These young girls have no shame. So they might be doing this crazy shit you want them to do. But I guarantee when they hit 35, they're going to go, that was some weird stuff, and that guy used his influence to get me to do that. I didn't feel right doing that. That was freaking awful. I was so young. I didn't know what I was doing. What the hell? And then you get charges. This is factual. This is what happens. I was young once. If you are a 50-year-old man, stay away from anyone under 30. An age spread of up to 20 years is acceptable. But when you go around with these young Gen Z girls, they don't even know what shame is, bro. Like, they don't, like, remember how we grew up and we would be shamed and we would feel this thing called guilt, right? They don't have that. They never experienced those things. They don't understand. It's not the same for them. It is not the same for them. We found out that Cassie, or whatever her name is, got $20 million when she sued him. So they're going to keep your secret until it's financially viable not to. That's why you should find one woman and stick with her. Make sure she's your age. You are almost a billionaire. You are in your 50s. This is a 19-year-old girl. 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. You really thought she was going to keep these secrets for you? You think you're just so great that these young ladies are just going to totally be different? That's like people who marry cheaters. If he was sleeping with you while he was married, he's a cheater. He will do it again. You aren't special. The deal is 22-year-old girls don't know they're not special. Their parents made them feel special their whole lives. They don't realize when it comes to the behavior of men, no woman is special enough to make them not be whatever they truly are. That's something you learn with age. You learn with maturity. And I would argue they're going with these little girls because they don't have maturity. Because they wouldn't put up a fight. Because they'll go along with this crazy-ish. That's predatorial. These are predators. Period. I'm lucky I made it past my 20s with all these fucking predators around. I swear to God. As of this moment in this trial. Now, I look at the Karen Reed trial. I say, that bitch is innocent. Period. Okay, she didn't do that. Now I'm looking at this trial right now. Where we stand with the evidence. Now, we're only on witness 3. We don't know anything that came out of the home sweeps or anything like that. So there's surely more evidence. As of today, it looks like Diddy's being prosecuted for being kinky and for being so stupid that he hooked up with little girls. Yeah, they were the age of consent, but that doesn't mean they're grown. And in a way, I kind of feel he deserves it. If you're going to be that stupid, you get what you get. It's called karma. But we really, really, in this country, do not prosecute people for their kinks. Unless their kink is like that kind of, yeah, then you're going to jail. But we don't really prosecute people for consensual, albeit weird and not standard behavior. We really don't. And right now, that's what it looks like. Now, I will say they have met their burden, I believe, on the interstate trafficking, because the male stripper, hooker, whatever he is, testified that Diddy would fly him around. They went to Philly, they went here, they went there, and Diddy paid for it. So I do believe that under the strict interpretation of that law, he is guilty of that crime and that has been proven. But the coercion and that kind of stuff, not yet proven. Now, I'm not sure if the jury will put the same onus on a 50-something-year-old wealthy, almost billionaire, or if they'll put as much onus on a 19-year-old girl, 20-year-old girl, 21-year-old girl. I don't know. It's a New York jury, so they're probably relatively liberal, and they can probably tell what grooming is. But I have no idea. All right, guys, that's all I got for you. I really appreciate you joining. Thank you for your likes, your subscribes, your support. I appreciate all of you.